Hello and welcome to another episode of the New World Comics Podcast. I'm Buck Berlin, owner-operator of this fine establishment. Joining with me this week is Drew Stone, who usually is behind the camera doing things. Not with us this week. Stephanie, because she was the smart one and is sleeping.
Well-deserved rest.
Yes. This week we're coming off of our own convention, and we're a little loopy and we're a little funny, so we're doing kind of a filler episode, but we swear to God we're not going to waste your time. Not more than we normally do, because, you know, that's how we do things. So, next week we'll do a New World Comic Con breakdown, and then the week after we'll get back to having various guests and talking about
regularly scheduled programming.
That stuff. See, that's why we have Drew. So, for those listening, you can we had a change in direction, so you can find our stuff where.
Let's see. We're on iTunes. We're on
SoundClouds.
I don't think we're on SoundCloud yet. We're still working on getting that done.
Edit that out.
Yeah, Spreaker. We're on YouTube and Facebook. And
Stitcher, is that a thing?
Stitcher, yeah, we're on Stitcher.
If you're not finding us on the thing or re-finding us on a thing, let us know, and we will become on that thing, because that's the kind of people we are. So, let us know on the Facebooks or Instagrams, on your various social medias. Smoke signals, handwritten letters work, too.
Angry text messages.
Slightly less angry.
Okay, agitated text messages.
I'll calm everyone down. Anyway, thanks for watching and or listening, however you all consume this content. So, without further ado, we will go into this week's topic, San Diego Comic-Con, because I've been, you've been,
yep.
And it's all the rage 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, just got back, and wow.
Yeah. So for those that have never been, it is absolutely the coolest thing that you can do. But the more you go,
So your first trip out there, it's sensory overload.
Yeah.
You step in and you realize just the absolute scale of the halls and how much stuff is there. And my first time in, I walked out and said, I don't know if I like this. I don't know. I kind of want to go home. And then by the end of the week, I was already planning for next year.
Yeah.
I mean, that's...
And then your fourth or fifth time, like you kind of the season pro, and you kind of what's the term,
you find your rhythm with it. You kind of have a sense of where things are, what time certain things take place, and you've got the groove down as far as what all can happen out there and how to handle things.
And you realize that just because you're out there, you don't actually get the news of what happened there. You find out when you get back home.
In my case, I have never been into Hall H, and this year, no exception, missed out on Hall H. And by the time I got home, it's like, oh, so that's what all those booms and clapping and everything that was going on. They got the new promo for this new video series or some new superheroes. You know.
So I started going to Comic-Con back in 2005, and getting into Hall H wasn't that big of a deal. Like, I went in and there were still, like, empty seats places. I want to say the first year I went was when they debuted the Return of Superman movie. Like, Bryan Singer was there and Brandon Routh came out, and then they played the trailer, and it was awesome. Like, it was just this, like, super cool experience. And then I had to sit through a whole bunch of other Warner Brothers movie trailers that I was like, I don't care about these. I want to say that it was the same year that Sky Captain and the World of Tomorrow was going to be the biggest thing ever. And they had the big inflatable robots out there, and they were taking over half of San Diego. It was great. And I'm like one of 5 people that love the movie.
I was about to say, I don't think I've ever watched it all the way through.
Have you not? I love that movie so much. It's so cheesy and corny. It's corny cheese. I don't know. I love it, but it speaks to all the campy stuff that I love. Anyway, we want to talk about some stuff that will get you prepared if ever you do get to go. And then as we go on, we'll tell you about some of the cool con stuff that, if you talk to anyone who's been, everyone's experience is different because some people go to shop, or some people go to meet celebrities, or some people go just to see the panels and get like that inside scoop kind of thing. So everyone's experience is different. So you'll get to hear ours. But the first thing that you need to know, and Drew and I had discussed at length, is buy socks. Wear lots of socks.
Very comfortable socks.
Yeah, because you won't believe anyone. My first day there, I had some of the worst blisters ever. And then I ended up wearing 3 pairs of socks by the end of the thing, with extra bandages and all sorts of just, it was bad.
I had my fitness tracker on from this past go around, and we were averaging 11 miles a day.
Yeah.
And that, while that might not sound like a lot, I mean, you are moving, you're on your feet all day. There's pretty much no place to sit down because they are at or exceeding capacity, and so they had to make some concessions for the fire marshal to allow more people in. So there's not a lot of seating there, and they get upset if you're sitting on the floor. So, I mean, it's always shuffle around.
Yeah, the most sitting that you'll see is like 2 or 3 people that are allowed to sit near pillars, or if they've found the coveted like wall space behind, like underneath the escalators, like that's kind of okay, or the like 22 seats that are in the concessions area.
Yeah, or now they've added upstairs in the sales pavilion. They've added a little bit more seating there, because before that was just completely barren of seating. So I mean, it's getting better, but it's still. I mean, you've got roughly 135,000 people.
Yeah,
that's all crammed into this area,
and
there's going to be a seating problem.
Or one of the tricks of the trade, if you want to go sit down for a little while, find a panel that that looks like no one will want to go to. It's like, oh, that looks unpopular. Let's go learn about that for an hour.
Yeah, so here's the secret. Their smallest panel rooms have 250 seats in them.
Yep.
So then they scale all the way up to, if you happen to miraculously get into Hall H, 6,500 seats, but you're waiting a solid day and a half to try to get in there.
Yeah, the first time that I didn't get into Hall H was the Iron Man panel. I got to go and I saw the this is the year before it comes out. I saw the crate that was marked Stark Enterprises kind of thing, and then the next day was the original Iron Man suit, the big clunky, welded together pieces of suit, like
Mark I.
It is absolutely my favorite Iron Man suit. Like, even before the movie, I loved the original Iron Man suit because it's the most realistic one.
It was a great design, and the way they interpreted it in the film, I mean, it's fantastic.
The only bad part of the design is that he had like an iron skirt, because they were like, how would that work? Yeah. And the fact that it had roller skates. That's the way that it got around quickly.
I mean, who doesn't like roller skates? So.
Yeah, but like that was the height of technology back in 1963.
Right. Rocket shoes may have been a little...
Yeah, I mean, eventually he had rocket-powered skates.
Even better.
Yeah. Oh, my God. So another thing that... you need to be ready for is, if you're flying out, bring an extra bag for carry-on that is absolutely empty.
Well, and I'd say if you're traveling with one suitcase, take a slightly smaller suitcase. Put your clothing in that one, put that inside the bigger suitcase. That way, then whenever you come back, you have 2 suitcases.
Yeah.
Because you're going to leave with all sorts of stuff.
Yeah, like way more stuff than you intend to. Also, bring your own bottles of water. I mean... Like, I'm not joking. Like, this bottle here, this, regular, bottle of Aquafina, $10 out there for one bottle of water.
Now, if you're willing to brave some of the crowds, you can always shuffle out. There's various places to eat around on the outside. It's still kind of pricey, but the food's good, and, they have free water out there.
Yeah, but I mean, that's if you go out, and then sometimes they're at capacity, so they don't let you back in.
Yeah, in some cases. So, if you're planning on staying inside, bring some water.
Yeah, I've seen some people camelback it, but I've seen those rupture from getting bumped into too much. So
Yep.
yeah, and various costumes and stuff, and just all sorts of not good accidents happen. So, and the one thing that no one tells you about that I was absolutely not prepared for, the smells.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you stop and think about it. You take 135,000 people, pack them all shoulder to shoulder, and everybody's doing the little penguin shuffle around. And it's San Diego. While the weather's nice, it can also get really, really hot.
Yeah.
And let's face it, and then the food that's out there, too, tends to, things get interesting real quick.
So I walk into the sales floor my first time there, and I have the biggest smile on my face, and I look around, and everyone else is smiling until all of a sudden I see someone kind of wince, and then I see it again, and then I'm like, what is with that? Because I mean, it'll last for a couple seconds, and then go back to smiling, and then it kind of hits me in the middle of walking around of, oh, there it is. You just walk through someone's really awful fart.
Yeah.
Or you walk by someone with the worst BO. Just absolutely terrible. Because unfortunately, a lot of the nerd community doesn't understand the proper hygiene sometimes.
Or they're not prepared for the kind of heat that's involved there.
Right, or to some extent, the physical activity that is involved in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
11 miles of walking. You're going to get hot.
Yeah. Yeah,
especially if you're in costume.
Oh God, yeah. Oh, I never tried to do Comic-Con in costume. I've done other shows in costume, but never San Diego.
I've got mixed feelings. My second trip out, I took my Rocketeer suit, and it's magnificent. It's also a leather jacket, and so I was about boiling to death. That, and then you've got the rocket to contend with. Fortunately, it was all PVC, so I'd turn around. I'm sorry. Oh, I'm sorry. Try not to kill anybody.
Yeah.
Then the following year, I took the Ghostbusters outfit with the proton pack. Don't recommend it. Save your back. Don't wear heavy stuff.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's an awesome place to kind of show off your cosplay and whatnot, but it also will greatly impede your abilities to sit down at the panels or just kind of shuffle the floor. You will get stopped every 10 feet for photos, which it's fun.
Yeah.
But if you're trying to get somewhere, especially on any kind of timetable.
Yeah, like your choice is that I'm going to go be a model today.
Right.
When I threw on the Death's Head costume for the Dallas Con, I knew that I wouldn't get very far. I knew that I was extra wide because of those shoulder pads. And I knew that... I would definitely need a handler because of, the fogging up of the lenses and that kind of stuff. And then, getting stopped for pictures. Like, you're dressed up like a big toy and people want to take pictures.
Yeah. I mean, it seems to be about as soon as, there's the initial, hey, may I take a picture? And then there's 20 people that's there with their cameras.
Yeah.
And then right about the time that last one goes, you're like, okay, I can kind of pop the helmet off or whatever, and we'll go shuffling over to where, one more picture. And then here comes the next 20.
Yeah.
And, it's a blast. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah, it's the, did I really think this through?
Right. So while we were out there last time, we took my family took our Spaceballs outfits.
Yes.
And, big hit with everybody, and it's so much fun, just to have people, they'll see it instantly. They'll yell across the floor. They'll look around, depending on what kind of name that they want to use.
Yeah.
Use for them. But where was I going with this train of thought?
Yeah. Again, sorry, we're 2 days away, or 2 days from our convention, so we haven't really slept yet.
About really. 4 hours of sleep combined, probably.
But I had a lot more. It's just I haven't quite caught back up. But yeah, the walking in costume in the convention, it's definitely part of the yeah.
I figured out where I was going with this.
Oh yeah.
So, in our case, we planned for Sunday to go? Saturday to go in full costume because we were looking at the signing schedules that were happening, any panels that we wanted to go to, things like that, and determined that, hey, there wasn't a lot going on Saturday that was Saturday or Sunday, whichever day that we picked there. It was a case of there's not a lot going on there that we need to be focusing on, so that way we can put the time in, to have fun and interact with the other guests that are there. So that way we're not having to worry about, oh, we got to scramble over here, we got to scramble over there, and, trying to be on any kind of timetable when, in costume, you can throw that timetable right out the window.
Yeah. Yeah, because, I mean, you're not going anywhere important.
Nope.
Yeah. So that does kind of lead me into the next point that I wanted to get to is plan your day. Check the schedule because, oh my God, the panels that you'll want to go see, there's a chance that if everyone else likes the same thing that you do, you're gonna have to get there hours beforehand to see it.
Yeah, several hours. They'll have lines set up.
Yeah.
I remember standing in line trying to get into a DuckTales panel.
Yeah.
That was there. I mean, just things like that you're going to be lucky if you get in. And
yeah, and if you have back-to-back panels, they now clear the room, so you have to choose.
Sometimes yes, sometimes no.
Really?
On the smaller rooms, they will let you stay. So this past trip, I was in a room on crowdfunding and comics, which was quite a bit of fun. And then it kept filling up, and I was like, man, there's a whole lot of people here that's here to see the crowdfunding and comics. There was a Ninja Turtles panel with Kevin Eastman happening right afterward. Yeah.
Man, one year there was the John Carpenter was doing his Ghost of Mars preview, and they were about to start doing a Spider-Man panel, and everyone got rowdy that the Ghost of Mars thing was getting close to time, so that like an entire crowd started yelling at John Carpenter to get off stage so they could watch Spider-Man.
Wow.
Yeah.
Where do you even go with that?
Yeah.
Man.
Yeah. Poor John Carpenter.
Yeah.
Doesn't get the respect he needs. I have a short John Carpenter story later. But yeah, know your schedule. Just because it's the difference of you getting to have that experience or missing out and finding out all that stuff later when you get home.
So, San Diego Comic-Con provides an app. It's great when it works and when they update it. There's constant updates coming out. I found that I've missed several panels that I wanted to go to just simply because the app didn't have them listed, and so I was having to walk around at each room and check the physical printed schedule that was out front. Never did find them, so I'm not for sure where they wound up at, but the app is great when it works, and then if you see something you can find the schedule online, print it off, carry it with you. Hard copies are great. Cellular service is better now. They've got little repeaters inside.
Oh, good.
So, yeah, it's come a really long ways.
The last time that I went, there was no cell service at all. So, you would have, hey, we're all going to meet here at 3. If you're not here at 3, then you're out of the loop, and we'll catch you at 6 whenever.
There's still some spotty areas, but the main convention center itself is great. Some of the hotels where they've got some outside activities going, not so much.
Yeah.
But the main convention center, you can text, you can call, you've got decent data service. So they've really reworked it, and it's really nice.
Part of the knowing your schedule is knowing what side of the panel room you need to be on too, because sometimes there's entrances for guests, and then there's entrances for celebrities, and then they block that off. The last year that I went to the wrong side of a Friday the 13th panel, and I accidentally ran into Kane Hodder, who played Jason more times than anyone else. And I was like, oh my God, you're Kane Hodder. He says, oh my God, you're a big fan. Come here. Just talk to me because you seem normal. Which, little did he know. But I was talking to him, and then everyone else that was on the panel ended up joining in. And I was talking to him, and I fit right in. They invited me out to dinner, and I couldn't because it was that. Well, can my friends come? No. I was like, well, I gotta do that. Yeah. Curse my loyalty. But
sorry guys, I've got this engagement.
Yeah, but no, it was so cool. Because beforehand, I was just talking to them and getting to ask them all the questions that I wanted to know. I said, hey, you have great questions. Whenever whenever the time comes, make sure that you're first in line to ask a question, because they're going to be giving away this amazing bag of Friday the 13th stuff. So just make sure that you're one of the first. So I get up there and I say, all right, what's your favorite kill in all the series? And this is like our own kill or like of the whole series? The whole series, whatever you want. If you play Jason, what's your favorite kill that you've done or out of the whole series? And oh man, boy, did that open up things. Oh, it was so good. For those that wanted to know, Kane Hodder's favorite kill is Jason X when he's slamming the kids up against a tree. He's just flop,
Nice.
flop. Yeah. And then I got the goodie bag and said my goodbyes after the panel, and it was awesome. So, but yeah, otherwise nowadays they don't let you in those sides of the panels, and then you miss out. So. Let's see. Another thing that you need to do, which is super important, know what you want to buy, because there's a lot of Comic-Con exclusive stuff, and sometimes it's very exclusive.
There's a lot of times you may not be able to get in at all. That's some of the exclusives are very surprising how small of a run that they do with those.
Yeah.
Usually several weeks or even a few months prior to the con happening, there's releases online. So you can kind of start planning out. It's like, okay, I want this from the Nickelodeon booth.
Yeah.
Or, okay, I need to go over here to NEC Press. Or, oh, hey, Diamond Select Toys, they've got some neat stuff that I want to get over here.
Yeah, or like, oh man, the Hasbro booth, it's got Power Rangers or Marvel Legends or something, and or man, those Legos. So some of that stuff you have to sign up for beforehand, get in the drawing.
So
the best.
Much as how they do the drawing system now to get tickets to go into the con, they also have kind of a little credit system that so each day you have a ticket to the con, you have a certain number of credits. It's kind of a lottery system. So you put those credits in and say, okay, I want this. I'm interested in that. And then you'll get randomly selected. Some of it might be to get into the Hasbro booth. Some of it might be to buy that super exclusive Lego piece.
Yeah.
I think I dropped mine in for signing with the cast of Young Justice.
Oh, really?
On there. And I took everything I had for that day and put it in there, and I got nothing. So, that's, I guess that leads into the next thing. Be prepared to not get your exclusive.
Yeah.
Because, that's just kind of the nature of it. Or, you might be surprised at what you stumble across. So,
yeah,
like the Mikey is Batman there, I kind of stumbled into that, and that was a very good find.
Yeah, well, and that Godzilla that you brought back for me, you were saying that they only had 50 a day?
50 per day.
Yeah.
That they were selling. And usually they were gone within about the first 20 to 30 minutes of the show opening.
Yeah, so thank you. It is mine and will never be anyone else's that I know of as long as I live. I don't know if everyone knows or not, I'm a big Godzilla fan.
I had no idea.
Yeah. Just saying. So that means the world to me. Thank you. So another thing that you need to be prepared for is reading the guests' badges, because though you think you know what a celebrity or creator whatever looks like, sometimes they're thrown on a hat and glasses and you wouldn't quite know. Some of them are happy to stop and talk with you. Some of them are going incognito for a reason.
Yep.
But if you catch the name on the badge and it's oh my god, it's
Some of them will hide their badge if they're trying to sneak through real quick.
Right, and but some of them it's just out.
It's there, and you're like, hey, is that?
Wait, I recognize that name. Yeah.
Yeah. I stepped on Jim Lee over there by accident. You were trying to shuffle him into the DC booth, and it's like, oh dear, I'm sorry.
I knocked over Seth Green. His comic, The Freshman, had just come out, and I had to push my way through this huge crowd of people. And the way that you have to get around at Comic-Con is you're penguin stepping throughout the whole thing, and then you're looking for big pockets of open space. And once you find the big pockets of open space, you know that you can orient yourself however you need to go.
And you got to go fast.
Yeah, well, because sometimes you have to go up one way to find that big empty pocket, and then you can go
whip a U-turn
back the other way. Yeah. So I found this big open area. And we're like, I'm going for it. So I go, and you kind of have to shoulder push your way through, and then,
in a polite manner.
In the most polite manner you can.
Yeah, because, I mean, everybody kind of understands. It's like, okay, we're all doing the penguin shuffle. It's like, I'm sorry, excuse me, pardon me, excuse me.
Yeah. And then sometimes someone else is coming too, and they accidentally shove you. So you go twice as fast. And sometimes it's into actor, writer, legend, Seth Green, and you knock him over, have to help stand him back up in front of a whole bunch of cameras and people that are asking him questions about The Freshman, which was then signed to be like a big major movie, which didn't happen. Yeah. But I had to do that. Sorry, big fan. Have a good day, and I'm just off. I'm like, well, that went well.
Oops.
Yeah, hopefully he forgets about that entirely.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then you also need to be listening
for
actors. It's surprising how many actors are incognito out there.
Yeah, like Daniel Radcliffe went as Spider-Man 1 year.
I'm pretty sure I bumped into Mark Hamill in a Stormtrooper outfit.
Yes. Yeah, I heard that he was running around doing that. Yeah.
Yeah, that was not this year, but last year. That I'm pretty certain, but can't prove anything. But it's like, A, that guy's awfully short to be a Stormtrooper. And then B, he sounds familiar. I know that. Yeah.
But yeah, you had an interesting experience this year, yes?
Yeah. Tom Holland.
Yeah.
Spider-Man. He was in a Spidey suit and just... you'd be like, man, this guy's got all the poses down. He's great Spider-Man.
And he knows a thing or two about being Spider-Man.
And then he'd yell out to some of the kids that were there, and it's like, golly, he sounds just like, big fan. Thank you, sir.
Yeah. Man, yeah, that's most of like the need to knows before going.
Comic-Con ID. You can't even sign up for tickets unless you have a Comic-Con ID now.
Really?
Yeah, you have to go in and sign up for a member ID, and then that unlocks everything to where you can start applying for stuff. So if you don't have one and you're planning on going, recommend getting one. It's free. You just head over to their site and sign up, and off you go.
Interesting. Yeah, because, I mean, luckily, if ever I want to go again, I have a badge through the store, through a Diamond account, because Diamond Comics has a thing worked out with Comic-Con to where like retailers get to go if they want to, but only like it used to be that I could just do the, hey, who wants my badges? Who wants to go? Here you go. It's under their name. And then it became the owners and store managers, and now it's the owners.
I mean, it's understandable because I mean you've got so many people that's trying to get in there.
Yeah.
So, and it's a really great thing to do for the owners to get in there and kind of see what's new, what's hot, what's going to be big this year.
Almost makes up for the things that Diamond does to us. Almost.
Ooh.
Oh. We'll have a special about that sometime. Oh, Diamond Comics.
Yep.
You're supposed to not bite the mouth that, or the hand that feeds you. But when they eat a lot of crap, it's anyway.
Yeah.
I digress.
Yeah. Con stories.
How about that lack of sleep? And some crazy con stories. I was told beforehand by my friend Ed that no, this is back 2005. That I started this. That if you talk to artists beforehand and you have like a sketchbook that doesn't look like it, you cut anything out of or tear anything out of to sell off, they're more likely to do better art for you. Sometimes free sketches. And they want to be part of the impressive thing that you've curated. I thought, wow, that's really cool. I gotta go get me one of those. So I got one, and then I learned about Artist Alley, which was a brand new idea for me. I was like, wait a minute, you can meet all of these comic artists. They're just sitting there waiting for you.
It's okay. So, yeah, you walk by and it's like, wait a minute, I grew up with that guy's work.
Yeah, I was like, oh my god, it's like, and then man, when you hear the voice of some of these people, like, oh man, George Perez when he's excited sounds like Mickey Mouse. Like he's just, oh my god, like it's. Wow.
You run into people and you're like, this is not at all what I expected them to look like or sound like.
Yeah.
But,
oh my God. But I was walking by Artist Alley and I saw Kyle Baker just walking there. And, I was a young, dumb kid that, didn't know what I was doing. Oh, my God, Kyle Baker, I'm a big fan. Can I get a sketch? Which, he wouldn't have a table or anything. He was just walking around trying to have a good time with whoever he was with. And he says, sure, what do you know me from? And, I listed all the stuff, and he was currently doing Plastic Man. And I'd mentioned that. He says, do you like Woozy Winks? I said, I love Woozy. It upsets me when he's not included in Plastic Man continuity. He says, well, good, because you're getting a Woozy. Here's Woozy. He's so quick about it. He's just lightning fast. Then next, I ran into Randy Emberlin, who worked on Spider-Man stuff in the 90s. And, my last name is Berlin, so I was like, hey, maybe we're kin down the line, huh? You got a big kick of that. And then, we were talking about his work and where I had hoped he would have, been picked, and he was like, yeah, some of that stuff would have been really cool. And he did this amazing, pardon the phrase, an amazing Spider-Man.
Oh.
Some might even say spectacular. Some might even say web of. I'll quit. But next, just down that row, I was walking along and I saw this really, really cool Aquaman. I'm like, man, it's this nice pencil sketch. I'm like, man, that looks awesome. That's really good. Then I look over and I see Metamorpho. I'm like, oh, God, that looks just like classic Metamorpho. Man, if only it was Ramona Afraid to Hold On. It's an old lady sitting alone. And I don't look at her badge. I don't look at the table or anything under the, ma'am, are you Ramona Frayden? And she looks up and says, yes, I am. How do you know who I am? I said, Metamorpho is one of my absolute all-time favorite comic book characters. Absolutely. I love your work. Oh my God, the Brave and the Bold, the Metamorphosis here, just all this stuff. And I'm just gushing. She says, is that your sketchbook? I said, yeah, it's not mine that I'm drawing in currently. It's one that I'm having comic creators write and draw, whatever they want to do in them. She's, may I see it? And she's like third person in the book, and she just pulls out her pencil and is sketching. Just, what else would you like to know? And we have this lovely conversation, and I'm just gushing. At this point, I am so in love with this woman. She's so amazing. And then she hands me back the book, and she says, thank you so much for being a fan. This is completely made the con. I said, oh, this is the best thing that's going to happen to me all con, no matter what happens next. And as I'm walking away, I look over and I see head sketches, $100. Something like that. And I look, and she has this Metamorpho, and it's absolutely my favorite thing in my entire sketchbook. Which the sketchbook has amazing things. We'll roll through some of the sketches here, I guess.
Yeah.
For editing sake.
Yeah. So this Metamorpho, that's an absolutely gorgeous piece.
Oh my God, I love it so much. It's up there with my Fantastic Four, one of like favorite things that I own, like that, and the Godzilla signature you got me.
Yes.
Oh my God. So, but yeah, if you just sit and talk with comic artists, they'll do sketches for you. Oh God, I'm blanking on a name because lack of sleep. Did the Goon, Eric Powell. I was told that he's famous for not doing sketches unless he likes you.
I mean, that makes sense. I mean, let's face it, the artists are there. There's a whole lot of people that's wanting to interact with them, and sometimes some people can get a little pushy up front, and so it's really the artist's discretion. It's their creation there. So
yeah. Oh God. And if you go up to an artist and they're known for drawing like snake eyes, I swear to God, they absolutely don't want to draw snake eyes again for the rest of their life, because that's all they do.
Usually, if I'm having a sketch done or something, I say, they ask me, oh, what would you like? And I said, whatever you would enjoy doing.
Yeah.
Because, whenever the artist enjoys what they're creating, what they're putting down on paper, it usually has that little extra sparkle to it. It pops alive on the page.
One of my all-time favorite stories of doing that, Andy Kuhn, who did Fire Breather for me, like because I got to talking to him, and Fire Breather was supposed to be Fin Fang Foom's son, and along with Godzilla, another big giant reptilian, Fin Fang Foom was absolutely one of my favorite characters. So we got to talking about that, and I could tell he'd drawn all his Fire Breather. He'd drawn everything that he had done. I said, "Why don't you draw whatever you like?" He says, "You're gonna pay me to draw whatever I like. I can draw whatever." I said, "Yeah, man. Can I draw the Hulk? I haven't drawn the Hulk in like a year. I just want to draw the Hulk."
And then suddenly this happens.
Yeah. He says, "Give me half an hour." So I come back after 20 minutes. Says, "Yeah, do you mind if I watch?" He says, "Sure, but give me another half hour." So I come back after that, and he's like, "Oh man!" Like every little moment, he's just like, "Huh, ah, ha, ha!" Like he's having such a good time drawing this thing. And I come back, and after a little while longer, and he, he's just smiling and beaming. He says, "You're back. How do you like it?" And it's, oh my God, it's absolutely,
It's stunning.
yeah,
Just stunning.
yeah. It's seldom do you see the sketch artist put in this much energy into their work. It's one of the pages that everyone just stops and stares at for a few moments when flipping through the sketchbook. And then Jason Howard was just, I could tell he was sick to death of drawing the Astounding Wolfman. He says, "Man, can I draw Hellboy? Always wanted to draw Hellboy." And I just, I've drawn him a lot for me, but like never for anyone. Can I draw Hellboy? I was like, I love Hellboy. So yeah. So we got that. And then I have a whole bunch of Zatanna and Mr. Miracle in there, and it's just great because Zatanna's my favorite comic character, and then Metamorpho and Mr. Miracle are up there too. So
I've had on a few occasions been out, and of course at the New England Comics, New England Press book booth that they have out there. For those that don't know, it's the home of Ben Edlund's The Tick. And they usually have the art director Bob Polio's out there, and then they'll bring out some of the few various artists. I don't think Ben was there this past year. I didn't readily see him at the booth.
You heard that you were coming, so
probably so.
Yeah.
But Ian Nichols and Jeff McClellan, that's the artist and the writer for the book. They will usually do a limited edition Comic-Con book. That's available there with The Tick.
It's very tongue-in-cheek and makes fun of its fans, as it should.
Oh, yes, absolutely. Yeah. That's what makes it so enjoyable.
Yeah.
And then they usually, a lot of these books, they do the blank covers, as you might find at your local comic shop. Stop by and get some blank covers.
Yeah.
And with that, I mean, they will do sketches on them for you, which is great. And then occasionally you wind up with something like this Ninja Turtle sketch. That I say sketch, I mean it went on full on drawing that Ian did for me. That was just came out magnificent. And so you wind up with stuff like that. That it's like, man, I want to read the comic, but I feel like this thing should be framed or something. It just
No, it's crazy the things that you'll run into. And like when I was finishing up my Fantastic Four collection, I was young dumb kid that was getting all this stuff. So I was at Comic-Con to finish my Fantastic Four collection. I was, by God, I'm going to do it this year. So I go up and I say, "Oh, let me see the Fantastic Four 5." They say, "Oh, can you afford it?" Which, rude. Come on now.
Wow.
Yeah, but I mean, to be fair, could I afford it? I understand where they're coming from, but come on. So I'm getting that, and then I'm looking for a few other things, and I start haggling, and then I buy it, because it fell right within where I was wanting to spend, and I still had all this big fat wad of cash that I brought because, save up for Comic-Con.
Save up. Everybody takes plastic, but yeah,
you'll overspend if you're going plastic.
Yeah,
like you go.
Very easily. Yeah. And let's face it, if you go with cash, you'll still wind up overspending.
Yeah, but
it's a little easier to control that way. But yeah,
so
you'll find stuff.
Yeah. So I realized that I'm young. I have a duffel bag full of expensive-looking comics, and I got my it's mostly like at the time it was mostly 20s and 5s, and I had a couple hundreds on the outside, but it was in one of those like mob boss rolls. Because of course it was. Well, and when you were dealing with the older guys at the time, like they appreciated, oh, this is a cash man. This is he knows what he's doing. Oh, look, he's got his list. He's got his stuff together. Let's wheel and deal. They like talking. So CGC was relatively new back then, and there were some booths that had some CGC Action Comics ones. So I walk up and I say, "Hey, mind if I take a look at these? You can't afford these." They're like, "Oh yeah." So I tell them how I'm a serious collector and I mean business and all this other stuff, and I tuck my way back into the counter. Mind if I get this one done? I said, "We don't let anyone touch that unless they're serious." So I open up my bag, I pull out my Fantastic Four 5, and then I show them my Mob Boss roll, which is. Yeah, I probably had $1,000, which still a lot of money to be walking around with. Yeah. But like I was seriously trying to complete the Fantastic Four collection, but it looks like I had thousands.
Oh yeah,
yeah, because
it always looks more impressive.
Yeah, it was before the new 100 really came around, so everything's the same color. So like, well, how about we go with the low end one? They hand me an Action Comics 1. And I'm like, this is living.
Yes.
So I'm sitting there and I know maybe when I have a little bit more cash on me, I'll get a nicer one instead of hand it back to them and walk off. So yeah, I held it's weird to be like I held Action Comics 1, but I held the piece of history that without that one comic doing well enough, none of all of this would be happening. Like the event itself that I was at would not happen had that not one comic come out and done what it had done.
It's weird that you can trace such a massive industry back to just one piece of artwork.
Yeah, just one book. Yeah. If Action Comics 1 hadn't done well,
and that's not to diminish the work that anybody else has done in the field, but I mean that was the start of the build-up.
Yeah, it's the pivotal point, and it's rare that you can have a milestone like that, because usually it's a few things kind of happened here and a few things kind of happened here, like, tracing back, the NBA, like it's when the things merged and, the rules changed and did all, it was like this thing and da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da, and here we are, but for an industry like comics, where you have definitive milestones like that, it's really something. So that was a heck of an experience. But I'm able to talk my way into and out of quite a few situations. So I don't know. What have you got, Drew? I feel like I'm taking up all the air.
Oh gosh, I'm thinking back that so I started going in 2014.
Yeah,
it was that was my first year. Made it out there on a press pass and got to go in, and again, so overwhelming. And then just the later years, I was able to get traditional passes, and that in the Big Bang Theory, you always see them set up with like the command center trying to get the Comic-Con tickets. They're not far off from reality. I'll be sitting around. We usually have a party of 5 that goes out now. And so I've got laptops and multiple internet connections and just, everybody's Comic-Con sign-on all spread out, just trying to get in there. But being in there, the people that you run into is amazing. I got to visit with the cast of the Amazon series, The Tick.
Yeah.
Peter Serafinowicz, who plays the Tick, he was also in Guardians of the Galaxy, played Saul.
Yeah.
Saul. Just the most fascinating person that you could run into.
Yeah, because I mean, you see him and you wouldn't look at him and think, oh, he's a great The Tick, like Patrick Warburton.
Patrick Warburton nailed it, and then Townsend Coleman, he's got that voice that everybody recognizes. That it's like, oh, The Tick. Like if I'm reading the comic, I'm hearing Townsend Coleman read The Tick to me. I mean, that's that's the definitive. But then being able to see Peter Serafinowicz, like he nailed that kind of brilliant innocence of The Tick, that always seeing the world with that sense of wonder.
Yeah. I mean, he was so perfect for it. But I mean, upon seeing him and meeting him, you don't think, oh, there's The Tick.
Yeah.
But no, he nailed it, and it's crushing that it didn't make it.
Yeah, 2 seasons, and then Amazon said, "No, okay, we're done." But that's super disappointing because they were running with it. It was catching all that quirkiness that's in the comics that makes it special.
Yeah,
but so I'm going through the signing, and we kind of got hung up there, and so that gave me a little extra time to talk with Peter, and he goes, "Well, hey, do you have anything else that you'd like for me to sign?" And I'm like, "No, I just have the poster that they gave to me. I didn't bring anything else." And I was wearing a Tick T-shirt that had kind of a printing of the Tick #1 comic cover on it. And he goes, "I could sign your T-shirt." I said, "Would you?" And he goes, No, I don't want to mess up your T-shirt." I said, "Please, sir, mess up my T-shirt." And so this started, I got that signed, and then the following year I was back. I got Townsend Coleman to sign it, and Ben Edlund, and then at a different convention, I finally had the chance to meet Patrick Warburton, and he signed it as well. So I've got everybody that's played the Tick so far, on that T-shirt.
That's great.
And then it's the sudden stop. It's like, I can never wear this T-shirt again. Fortunately, I was able to go down and visit with New England Press. And get another shirt like that. So it's like, yes, okay, I'm covered. But yes, that's the Tick was real big. And then Jeff Smith, again, absolutely great person to talk with. He was the writer and artist on the Bone series. It's a massive tome of the collected works. That they've usually got that available. And it's just real interesting to hear his stories about the creation of it, which I think he's actually compiled into a new book now that's got the Bone coda, and then kind of a collection of essays, and then the story about how it all came to be, the start of cartoon books. And their adventures in self-publishing.
Oh, yeah, which, I mean, he was at the tail end of the success of the, indie boom, or the second indie boom.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, I can see where that'd be absolutely fascinating. See, you mentioned the Peter Serafinowicz thing. That made me think of the time I met John DiMaggio there, because, he was just there, and then someone found him and called him over. They're like, "Hey, John, why don't you sit down and do a quick signing?" He said, "But no one knows who I am." And then his line just formed, and I was in it, and and I had a Futurama trade because like Billy West was going to be there. Matt Groening was there, and that was crazy meeting him. But John DiMaggio was there, and he's who wants to do pictures too. So I did that, and then. For a lot of the pictures, I try not to do a traditional picture, but, I said, "How about we look really sad to have met each other?" He says, "I love it." So there's a picture of us just looking real sad. It's really neat meeting these people, and sometimes I'll have things signed to me, and I write an insult.
Yep.
Yeah, right. Absolutely give me the best insult you can. Peter David absolutely will not insult you. He says, "I don't do that because sometimes people's feelings get actually hurt, and I'm not on this earth to insult or hurt anyone's feelings."
I've got a Darkwing Duck comic book now. It's got a sketch of Negaduck inside with the caption that says, "Get bent." It's a favorite.
That's awesome.
But you mentioned that sometimes people just get drug over and lines form out of nowhere. We had I was kind of wandering around and found a guy that had a whole bunch of animation cells out. And I started talking with him, and he was selling some things off to help raise some money for Bernie Wrightson's family. He had recently passed away at that time, and it was all stuff that he had worked on, and I hadn't realized that he had done things with like children's animation, stuff like that. So it was Biker Mice from Mars. I don't know if you remember that.
Oh, of course I do.
Yeah. And so then they stopped and they go, oh, we've got one of the voice actors over here. I'm like, oh? And it was Rob Paulson was there. And
that's awesome.
And so like nobody was around. Nobody realized that was him. And so I had just the most wonderful conversation with him, and he went through and signed the Biker Mice cells. And
oh, wow.
Yeah, and it was just wandering around. You turn around and it's, you suddenly realize, oh, hey.
I remember one evening on the way out of Comic-Con, I was with my group of friends who were like all on their cell phones, and the guy that played Hero from Heroes, like Heroes was just the biggest damn thing at the time, and he was just out, and like I stopped to say hi, and he was like, hey, do you want a picture? I was like, yeah, hey guys, and all my friends were on their phones.
Wow.
I was like, it was very nice to meet you. He says, oh, it was great meeting you too. Have a good night. And then off they went. I said, guys, get off your phones. Hero. And they're like, what? Oh.
Yeah. My first year out, we're doing the shuffle at one of the crosswalks, and we turn around, it's like, that's Samuel L. Jackson inside that SUV. Hi.
Yeah.
Hi. And, everybody's waving, and he just kind of, does his nod.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. It's like, glad I'm in here. But I've heard of people getting, like shoved onto an escalator with Steven Spielberg.
Yeah.
Stuck in an elevator with some various actors. One of the guys that I talked with this past time was staying in the hotel room with Sarah Connor, from Terminator.
Linda Hamilton.
Linda Hamilton, thank you. Yeah. And he walked out and turned around and said, oh, hey.
Yeah, right. I mean, sometimes you'll find people like at their booths and like no one's there. Like Lloyd Kaufman was at the trombone booth, no one was talking to him. And I mean, this is before I had plans to take over any kind of store, or have any kind of comic book store. Before all this, actually, a lot of people don't know, I was going to go into making horror movies, which a lot of my skills and stuff have lent itself well to the superhero school thing, which is weird, going from I want to make horror movies to entertaining kids with stuff. But I talked to him for at least an hour before anyone came and interrupted us or anything. So yeah, it's such a crazy experience out there that if you play your cards right and like, since there's so much going on, some sort of magic is likely to happen.
Yeah. And you never know what. I mean, despite, having your best laid plans, I mean, stuff's going to happen. That particular escalator is going to be broken, and you never know where you might end up and who you're going to meet when you end up there.
Yeah. And then by the end of the thing, you're penniless, you're broke, you're tired. you go home, and it's one of the worst feelings in the world. You're just done, and then you need a vacation from having your vacation.
Yeah. It's like, okay, I'm ready to go back to work now.
And I liken it to binge drinking when you're very young. It's amazing and awesome when you're doing it, and then you feel terrible for so long after, and you're like, I'm never doing that again. And then you're like, opportunity's arisen. Let's do this again. So yeah,
it's a case of never again. Now next year, let's do.
Which I mean, in my younger days, I could handle all the crowds, and now I'm getting older, and I'm not sure.
I feel like I need an anti-anxiety pill.
Yeah,
there, but I mean, it's doable. I mean, it's just having a plan and then being flexible enough to know that your plan goes out the window once you get there.
Yeah, like I keep telling myself that I'm going to go back, and then it's do I think I can handle it? Do I think I can go? But I'll probably go at least one more time.
You need to.
Yeah.
I mean, it's changed enough. This past year, there's a large focus on the toys and pop culture.
Yeah.
But you start seeing the comics kind of make a comeback. There's kind of a little slump, and then they build back up. And a lot of times, you never know what creators are going to be out there.
Yeah.
It depends on how a lot of the big publishing companies shuffle things around and who they're able to call, who's not working on stuff. It seems like this year they kind of snuck in a bunch of the film stuff. It didn't seem like it was planned.
Oh,
it
absolutely was not. Yeah, I mean, it was, but it wasn't.
Right. They kept it pretty quiet.
Yeah.
So there seemed to be a lot more comic creators that were there. And that may just be what I was focusing on this year.
Yeah,
it's such a large convention. You might go and say, oh, hey, yeah, I want to meet these people. And then, suddenly you come to the realization that, oh, I missed all this other stuff that was happening.
Yeah, like I say, you get back from Comic-Con and then you find out all the things that happened while you were there. So, All right, well, Drew, I think that wraps up more or less a show. We hope that we haven't wasted anyone's time. If we have, you can have your money back. No, just find us in person, complain to us, and we'll tell you a really bad joke at least.
Yeah, love jokes. So you can hit us up on Facebook, facebook.com/New World Comics OKC. We're also on Instagram. And
I'm here at the store, 6219 North Meridian in the Oklahoma City. And then, Drew Stone lives at...
Nope.
All right, he lives at...
I live at the shop. Maybe behind a camera.
Yeah, pretty much.
I live in the internet. You've seen Freakazoid. Anyway.
I have. Anyways, thank you all for putting up with us. Next week we'll have Stephanie back, and we will do a New World Comic-Con breakdown. It's going to be fantastic. So thank you all, and good night or morning or whenever you're watching this. See y'all next time.
See ya.